Welcome to the Principles of Seven podcast. I am your humble host, Dave Sharp, and I appreciate everybody who watches this video. Please do us a huge favor and throw a thumbs up on that. Please like, comment, subscribe, you know the routine. It does do a lot, especially for the algorithm in YouTube, and we want to start kicking off. I know we put out a kickoff episode a little while back that explains a little more about our channel and what we do, and we've had some work that we've had to do, and we got a little bit behind, but we're back. We've been putting out some videos up at the truck wash, some of the wonderful drivers that come through here. We want to try to give back, so we're giving them drone footage of their trucks as they go through, and drivers really seem to like that. Our other business that we're involved in is Nebraska Cold Storage in Hastings, and I'm actually up here at the truck wash now. It's 12:14 a.m. I've got some motors that I need to get put in. We're working on rehabilitating this facility back to the way that it was when we began. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But the main reason why I wanted to start recording this before I started working on these motors was that I went through Wendy's drive-thru in Hastings, and there was a young man at the drive-thru, very pleasant man, asked me how my day was. And I lied to him, told him I was having a good day, of course, as we all do, and asked him how his day was going. And he told me that he was excited to get off work because he had just bought a car a week prior, and it had broken down on him, and he just got it fixed. And I asked him where he had bought his car and what kind it was. And he looked me in the face and said, it was my friend's car. And he broke up a little bit and said that he had committed suicide. And he was excited to have his car because it was his friend. And I immediately thought to one of our team members at Nebraska Cold Storage, Zach, who survived a high-powered rifle shot to the face in his attempt. And fortunately, this young man lived. I've known him since he was 15 years old. And he's very dear to my heart, and he's been very troubled. But he works for us at NCS, and he's actually gone out and helped us with other team members and members of the community that was contemplating suicide. And we're finding that the things that we're doing have touched enough people that people are starting to reach out to us with problems that they need help with. And we have taken very successful businessmen who made their money in the drug trade of marijuana. Check out the episode on Louis. He did 12 years in prison, and he was one of President Biden's first 75 commutated. And we are blessed to have him at Nebraska Cold Storage because he's also a friend. But he brings a lot to the table because he's been through so much. And the work that he's done, Dismas Charities was the federal release house that he went to in Kearney. and he immediately began working for us at Nebraska Cold Storage. Within 2 years, he's unmonitored, bought a house, and he's there for anything that I need him to do, and he's helping us change lives with his story. Zach's helping us change lives with his story. And I wanted to tell you about an upcoming episode that we have, that we're going to start filming. Look to have it up on the channel within a week. This person was living in a van outside of a Holiday Inn. Staff was letting her park there. She'd lost her kids. She had been beaten down by life and made to feel like she was nothing. Our group, we call ourselves the Principles of Seven, chose to bring her into our facility at Nebraska Cold Storage in an effort to change how she felt about herself, and that she wasn't a failure. And we sought to prove that. And those that directly gave her the encouragement, the advice, the love, the caring to dig herself out of that hole and change her life was as simple as that's what they chose to do. It's what they decided to do, and it's what we've decided to do. And for us, we term that as service to others. And we recently have a new member to the group that did 17 years for murder. And it was a gun that was pulled on him. And there were no witnesses. And the way the man honestly describes it, the gun was pulled on him and it was kill or be killed. And he was 22 years old. 17 years he did his time. And he's been out now for 3 weeks. He was in prison in Florida. And I don't know how many of you understand what it's like to be in a state prison in Florida. But it teaches you a different way to live. And it requires you to live a different way. And somehow, through whatever means, fate, whatever you would call it, he found his way to us. And because we have so much knowledge and we have been through so many things in our own life, we learn from that. And if we can teach, I've talked about my background a little bit on some of the episodes, but we'll get into things a little bit deeper and start looking at some of these individuals. But I gave this man an opportunity. We had somebody call in to us, and we actually have a couple of those right now. And one of them is an addict that needs some help. And I won't mention that name because we are yet to do this work. But I hope to get this individual on this podcast after we have achieved our mission. And what I explained to this man was, this gentleman that just got out of prison for murder, is that the mistake that happened that day, that he served 17 years for, is because a man's life was taken. Self-defense or not, that's history. He served his time. And the greatest thing he can do right now is to give back somebody their life. And he's a polymath. And that means he has spent those 17 years studying everything. I can sit down and have a conversation with him about quantum physics, quantum entanglement, the observer effect, mitosis, DNA and memory. He studied so many things while he was in there for those 17 years. And he has a vast amount of knowledge that he can use. And if he chooses, we can create a script for exactly how we come into this man's life that needs help. And the 3 little girls that he has that are losing their father. It breaks my heart. And people will talk about it. They'll gossip about it. But nobody seems to go into those lives, and by whatever means they can, help him change. We're strangers. He has no idea who we are, this gentleman that has the addiction. So we can pop into his life and literally set him up for success by creating whatever story we deem necessary. And I know this works because I've done it my whole life. If you've watched any of the episodes as a truck driver, that's why I'm here at Speed Clean Truck Wash now. Because as a driver, I found the ability to go all over this country and choose to impact people in profound ways. And as more and more of these episodes start coming out, I know the amount of people that are going to recognize the help that I've given them. And this lady that was living in a van, it's amazing what caring and loving somebody will do. It'll change their life. It's something that I'm never going to stop doing. Every day my goal is to try to impact the most amount of people that I can in the most positive way. And the counsel that we give people is vital to helping. And we have a lot of people that are hurting around us right now. And it's why I had to jump on here. And I'm so passionate about this right now that I know I'm beginning to ramble a bit, but there's a message that I want to put out. Watch for these upcoming episodes. Pay attention. Watch what we do. This can be done anywhere. All people need to do is have the intention to impact the people around them positively. I don't want to see another young man kill himself or a young woman kill herself because we didn't make it there in time, and that's how we feel about it. So my message for you today is, my friends, today I sit before you with a heart that's heavy, with the knowledge of the pain and suffering that so many of us carry. I have walked a path marred by betrayal, loss, and the crushing weight of being a student of life's harshest lessons. But I sit here not as a victim, but as a beacon of hope and resilience, ready to lift up those around me who have been hurt or who are hurting. I have seen firsthand the devastating psychological effects of selfishness, abuse, betrayal. The wounds it inflicts cut deep. And they tear at the very fabric of our trust and security. The closer that connection, the more it destroys. Those closest to us have the power to lift us up or destroy us. And I want to tell you, my friends, that we're not defined by the pain that's inflicted on us. It's how we respond to it. That's what defines us. Healing from such deep wounds is a journey that requires courage, patience, self-compassion. It's about acknowledging pain and yet refusing to let it dictate our future. It's about finding strength to forgive, not for the ones who caused the hurt and the pain, but for our own peace. And it's about surrounding ourselves with love and empathy and reaching out a hand to those that are still lost in the darkness. I've learned that by being a student of life's lessons, it means to transform pain into wisdom, bitterness into empathy, betrayal into an unwavering commitment to uplift others. If we are not students of life, we will become its victim. And we have to rise above those scars, because it's in our shared humanity and our ability to lift each other up that we find the true and real path to healing and transformation. So, to my friends, my family, can we embrace the power within us to not only survive, but thrive in this life? Can we stand together as a community of resilience, hope, and an unbreakable spirit to serve others? The most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life was to make a decision at a very young age to change as many lives as I could, and to learn how to do that by listening, studying, reading. I didn't spend any time in a prison, but I spent a lot of time studying. Not because I had the time, but because I needed to make the time, because that's who I wanted to be. So I knew I had to study people. And if we can just be the light that guides others out of the shadows and be the hands that lift them up from despair to hope, what more could we be? I'm sure a lot of you listening have lost loved ones, some to suicide, some to drug addiction, some to freak car accidents. We hurt, and we feel loss. I've had a lot of loss in my life, but I'm no victim. And I can't wait for the world to see what we create. This world is changing, my friends. I see it. I have enough people around me that I work with that I see. The media's dying off. Nobody trusts the media anymore. Division, I'm watching it disappear. I'm also watching people trying to divide. And I see those people being put in boxes. And the one thing that this channel is going to become is a place that people can turn to find inspiration and hope, to see how profoundly we can think, how deeply we are willing to go in and have an intervention that is scripted in the most positive way. If you were a drug addict, and some of you may be, who are incapable of getting off of the mess that they have created for themselves, nonetheless, they're victims to it. And we have a very good track record of succeeding in these things. And I think the reason for that is that we have so many people who understand it because they beat those things. I can't say I've ever been a drug addict, but I've helped a lot of them. And the one thing that is missing in every one of them is the belief in themselves that they can be anything other than what they've been. And it's such a lie. It's a subconscious mind that believes everything that it's ever been told, what it told itself, and the experiences that it uses to project what the future is going to be, and they don't see a different future. When you can show them a different future and give them a way out, the majority of the time they take it. And they know why you did it. Because you're a stranger in their life. The only reason why you would do such a thing is because you truly cared about them. And they realize that there are people who will give you the shirt off their back to make a difference. And they've been on a service to self path. Everything is about them. Selfishness. And a lot of them are hurting people that really care about them. My first marriage was 23 years. And that marriage ended in devastation for an entire family because of my ex-wife's pain pill addiction that wound her and my son up in prison. Her own son, she was going out and robbing churches with our son. I don't understand that. I truly do not understand that. And I know that happened to me. But there was nothing I could do to stop that. I realized I was absolutely powerless with people that I care about. It's those personal relationships, those close ones, that is very difficult to realize that because of how you feel and the importance of it to you, you don't have the ability to maintain that calmness that is needed. because I blew up. Many years ago, but one of the things I did do was I went after drug dealers, and I helped them go to prison. And sorry if you can hear the equipment kicking on back there. I'll get this wrapped up here pretty soon. I apologize for my rambling, but it's devastating to see what some of the people that we're working with is going through. And my part in this is not something that I can choose not to do. When I've experienced the type of loss and betrayal that I have, to lead people, excuse me, I have to care about them just as much as I care about myself. They are my backbone, and I do everything possible I can for them. And mark my words, to the day I die, I will be there for every one of them, regardless. I love everybody. Thank you. Have a good night.